It's day 7 of Sober October. Or rather, it's October 7th, and for me, it's day 6 of Sober October. As of tomorrow night, well, as of like 3 or 4 o'clock Saturday morning, it'll be 1 week. I'm definitely gonna make it, so long as I live. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make it through tomorrow. I didn't make a video yesterday because yesterday was just like just a bad day. But like the drinking part of it went really well. Stayed up too late. I have been drinking some tea also. I've been drinking three kombuchas. This is my favorite brand at the moment. It was on sale at the supermarket. All the kombucha was on sale, so like the big ones sold out. I went back today to see if they got any more, but they didn't. But these were on sale. Still expensive. So yeah, this, the sober thing, the no puffin except for CBD, which is, but even still, it's been like, from the drinking standpoint, not necessarily from the whole person standpoint, but like from the wanting a drink standpoint, this has been the best for me it's ever been. I'm shocked that I'm on day 6. I think I'm gonna make it. I think I'm gonna do the whole month. I'm gonna have to do an extra day or two. And then reassess, go from there. Next on the agenda of this exciting tale of a broken old man and his boo-boo. I stopped wearing my band-aid on my arm, but it's still pretty bad. And for those who missed the previous riveting episodes, on the same day I quit drinking, after like an oration to Mary, a sloppy, horrible one, but something was stirring in my heart, and then I also got this thing at the same time, which is smaller. Yeah, it is smaller. All right. It's getting a little itchy. It's really hot. It's been hot this whole time, but I haven't gotten a fever. It hasn't spread down my arm. It's just right there. It's really hot. But yeah, after pricking it with a pin, so having the Band-Aid and the Neosporin on it and everything just kept everything moist. Also, there's so much hair on my arm, it was like irritating and pulling my skin when I moved around. So yesterday, I didn't take a video, I should have, but it was like way bigger. And I put the Yarrow on. And as it turns out, the Yarrow, yeah, that didn't do, if anything, it made it worse in this case. But today I decided no bandage and give it some air, let it dry out. So now this little part that was red and getting kind of, yesterday it looked, I was like, what's going on? It looked fleshy dark and just, but now it's starting to scab over. Just where I plucked at it, the cyst is still underneath. But yeah, it feels a little, it looks a little smaller than it did. But what an interesting thing that I have this like heroin thing while I'm trying to quit drinking. So like that, just the relationship between addictions and like what we're running from and what we're running to, and that I don't want to say I figured out Mary, but I figured out why people love Mary, and I feel like I figured out a little bit extra. I've discovered a piece of why people love Mary, a tiny piece, you know. But aside from that, I also feel like I've found a little bit extra with the connection between Mary and Mary Totten and the word Mary in Egyptian, or which means beloved. Mary Totten, beloved of the Aten. People misinterpret almost universally what Aten means. I'm not going to get into that right now, but it doesn't mean the sun god. There was a progressive campaign of trying to step down the worship that was into essentially, monotheism, and for that matter, the same monotheism that belongs to the Old Testament, the same one, not similar. They were a co-event or series of events. Anyway, so yeah, the connection between, like, I don't really mean it's a stigmata, but it is certainly more than a coincidence and synchronicity, right? That like I found my heroine, my hero, my her, ro, and like the great heroines are supposedly connected with our Jungian anima. Because there's our, and I'm sure I'm getting this wrong because it's been a long time since I read this stuff, but like in Carl Jung, there's the self. Behind that, the anima. Behind that, the shadow. The anima is supposed to be of opposite sex, but of the same, like, temperament, maybe? Something like that, personality. And the shadow is the same sex and the opposite personality. It's completely oversimplified, but all us crazy dudes and a lot of the put together ones are looking for that peaceful mother within ourselves. You know? So while we're looking to God, when I suffer from this, even though when I'm deep in it, I don't think of God this way at all, but once you start talking in vernacular, shop talk, you get in that mode. And quite often I still say he for God, right? But that's part of my upbringing and culture, and because I listen to other people who talk about God and they always say he. And so that's an imprint, a brand in my imagination that for the most part I, get beyond. Not necessarily as far as, definitely not as far as I need to, but, I get beyond that just fine. But when I'm just spitting, the he's come out a lot. Anyway, the other thing that I thought was interesting too is that it's like an IV, but I didn't go to the hospital and I didn't slice it open. I poked at it. But it's almost like, like an IV thing, like I'm sick and I'm getting an infusion. I'm dehydrated. Work's being done to me. I'm a patient. I'm a patient in a spiritual hospital. Thanks to my phone, thanks to my own reflection looking around the world, thanks to the nice interactions with people that I've had throughout my life or whatever. Like anybody. Yeah, still smoke, but I'm not even going to think about smoking. CBD I might put down midway through the month, maybe not. But not even thinking about quitting smoking, not really thinking too much about trying to do anything too much right now. It's just like, get used to it. And try to develop some better habits. And all summer I've been wanting to pick my wild plants from outside. In my previous video, I'd picked these 3 plants and put them in a kombucha bottle, let them sit all day, and drank them. That was day. That was October 5th, day 4, yesterday. But then what I did when I was done, which I didn't make a video of, is I poured water in that bottle and it was empty. Screwed it back up, left it overnight. When I came home the next day, I drank it, so it was there for about 24 hours. And it was so good. It tasted like lemon tea. I was so surprised because dandelion doesn't really taste good. You can dress it up, but it doesn't really taste good, you know. And nor does ground ivy. Sour clover does though. Sour clover always tastes good. It's like parsley that tastes like oranges or lemon, you know. Italian parsley. But anyway, all that together on that second day when I drank it, it tasted, like tea. So smooth, so nice. So I'm going to make some more of that because I'm not sure how much was whatever residue of the kombucha was left. Also, I'm super impatient, but also I'd like to ferment it, maybe slightly adjust the recipe. I'd like to try fermenting it in open air for however long. And then also contrast that with fermenting it closed off for however long. I don't know if I'll get to that this year because time's running out and supply in my front yard's running short. It grows everywhere, but every year sometimes it might grow in a little bit different of a place, or I'm still a little bit shy about looking like a weirdo picking weeds at the edge of parking lots and stuff, but I'll get there. But yeah, just to recap, this is what I picked. I was late as usual, so I just picked a few things, threw it in the bag, threw it in my fridge, and later I'll clean it up. But I don't get too worried about dirt. I try to get it off, you know, but I don't get too awful worried about dirt. Mostly when I'm fermenting. I should probably be more worried about dirt. Yeah, I picked some dandelion leaves. And it's a little bit slim pickings on the ground ivy, except for a kind of big patch, but I'm afraid if I pick that, it might not come back next year because I have less around. My last year my driveway was just slamming. I'm gonna run out of time.